For me, that decision was difficult, obviously, because you've been at a club like Chelsea for a very long time. It's really a family here, family unit, and you sense that from day one. Grateful to the people that have helped me get on this journey, and the people that have, Palace accepted me to come to the club and allow me to show what I can do. This place is amazing, and an amazing place to play at.
Marc, thank you so much for speaking to us. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Let's start at the beginning. The year 2000, the year you were born in the Ivory Coast, then you moved to England when you were very young. How would you describe your childhood?
I think my childhood was very good. I had two loving parents, and then my sisters came along after that. I'd say for them it was tough, coming from the Ivory Coast and settling in a new country, but I'd say for me, I had everything I needed. There was always food on the table, always had clothes on my back, so everything I needed was there.
What are your earliest memories of football? Do you remember the moment that you were introduced to football?
A little bit. It's probably, I'd say, just watching Didier Drogba. Obviously, very young Chelsea fan, so watching him, obviously being from the Ivory Coast as well. Loads of people at home always talking about how great he was. So someone I looked up to for sure.
I know that faith and religion has always played a huge part in your life. Your father is a pastor. How much has faith helped to guide you, not just in your footballing career, but in your life as well?
It's played a massive part. For me being, a Christian and my faith being something that I hold very, very dear to, helps in life, helps in football as well. Just has helped me. God has helped me a lot in just keeping in his right path, I'd say.
Can you tell us a bit about your first football team, about Cray Wanderers, and how playing for them led to you signing for Chelsea?
Yeah, I played for Cray Wanderers when I was about 6 to I think 7 or 8. It was one of those where my parents just sent me out because they wanted me to be involved with stuff outside the house, and as a young kid going and playing football was one of them. So the local team was Cray Wanderers. At the time, one of our coaches was a Chelsea scout, and then through there, that's how I was able to get scouted to Chelsea and then go through the academy from there.
So he was like, this kid is great, let's take him to Chelsea.
I wouldn't say he said I was great, but I think he saw something that I don't think anyone else saw for sure.
And how would you describe those years at Chelsea, progressing through the youth ranks? What was that experience like for you?
It was a really good experience. For my age group in particular, we had a really good team, really good top coaches throughout the whole academy. And for me, it was just progressing and learning about the game, learning about myself a lot. And those years were fun. You're young, you just think about playing and enjoying football with your friends and your teammates. And so those were some really good years.
Fun years and successful years as well. You won the World Cup with the England under-17s in 2017. Then a year later, 2018, the quadruple with Chelsea. What was it like having so much success at such a young age?
I mean, it's always great to win. That's part of sport as well, as winning. And to have that at such a young age was an amazing feeling. We had, fantastic coach in Jody Morris at the time, and Ed Brand and so many others before. So for me and for the team, it was fantastic to get those little bits of experience under our belt to help us, further our career.
Do you think it can ever be detrimental achieving so much when you're so young?
Not necessarily. I can understand where you're coming from with the question. I think it depends on the person. I think if you let it get to you and you rest on those successes, then it can definitely have an effect. But I think if you're really driven and hungry to continue succeeding and knowing that these are only small aspects of what's to come, then then you've got a good future ahead of you.
And in that team that won the quadruple in 2018, Reece James, Conor Gallagher, Callum Hudson-Odoi. How close are you to those players still?
Really close. Obviously, Connor, us being together at Palace was really good. And obviously, Reece being together with him at the national team not too long ago, and Callum known him for a very long time. So it was amazing, being able to grow up with those players, being able to win some amazing games and win trophies with them. And I'm just really happy that they're doing really well in their careers as well.
Do you still see them a lot when you can?
When I can, yes. It's hard because everyone's so busy. Everyone's training all the time. But yeah, when we can, we try and meet up.
Was there ever any doubt or uncertainty for you about what was to come? Did you ever have any doubts over your future in football?
I think there's always doubts for any young footballer. Nothing's ever certain. You go through the academy and there's some really good players, tough moments, not knowing whether they're going to keep you on or not. But I think throughout my career, I've always had my parents supporting me, the right people around me helping me along the way, helping me keep myself in a good mental space to keep going.
Have you ever had a moment where you maybe thought about giving up? Maybe you thought, no, this isn't for me, I'm going to do something else?
I wouldn't say I've had a moment of giving up, but like you said, I've had loads of doubts. I remember a couple moments where I think it was the time where a lot of the boys were deciding whether they was going to get their new contract. So the academy manager would come in and tell the boys if they were going to get their new contracts, and it was a really stressful moment because you don't know whether they're going to keep you on or what's going to happen. I remember the game I played before that decision, I played so bad. It was so terrible. So in my head, I'm thinking, this could be it. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But, moments like that make you think how important the sport is for you and how much you love it.
I guess seeing close friends leave as well is hard.
100%. Boys that you've grown up with all your life, and seeing them leave and seeing them go on to different things, also very hard. But like I said, you keep those moments, and those moments also help you in especially in my personal journey.
You went on loan to Swansea in 2020. How did that move come about?
The move came about me wanting to get some experience, play men's football, and I think it was the right move for me at the time, just to get out and experience a different world, I'd say, a different world from the academy, experience playing under pressure in front of massive stadiums and challenging for 3 points. So I think it was a really important move for me.
A different world, as you say. What was it like leaving home for the first time?
It wasn't too bad. I'm the type of person, I'm quite relaxed. If family weren't too far away, a call, or sometimes they'd come down to visit when they could, even though I think it's about 3 hours away. But for me, I was quite relaxed. I've had one goal in my mind, was just to try and do as well as possible, and see where I can go from there.
Looking back at that time, how beneficial was that move for you, giving you that first team experience that you needed?
Extremely beneficial. I'm grateful to the people at Swansea, because it wasn't always easy there, but some of the players, the staff were amazing with me, helping me get through what was tough periods at the beginning, and helped me flourish from where I was right to the end.
At what point when you were with Chelsea did you think that you actually might need to move away from the club to get regular first team football?
I think it was the moment when I came back on loan from Swansea. I knew I could see Chelsea were almost rebuilding the squad and trying to get a few players in, but for me it was really important just to get some game time. Me as a young player coming off the back of a loan and playing almost every game, it was important not to stop that progress and allow me just to keep going and keep playing and experiencing first team football. So for me that decision was difficult, obviously, because you've been at a club like Chelsea for a very long time, but I think it was the right one.
As you say, super difficult because you joined the club at 8 years old. Did it feel like you were leaving home in a way?
A little bit. Like I said, you've been somewhere for so long and you just get used to the environment, you get used to the people, you get used to philosophies as a player, so leaving there was difficult.
Did Chelsea ever talk to you about maybe another loan move instead of leaving the club permanently? Yeah, there was potential loan moves to different clubs, but I think, for my career, I wanted to be somewhere permanent. I felt like I experienced
the loan move with Swansea, being there for 18 months. I just wanted to be somewhere permanent to keep progressing and see where I could go.
A big decision, obviously, to leave Chelsea. Who did you seek advice from? Who helped you make that decision, or did you sort of make it on your own?
Nah, family. Family have always played a massive part. They've always been there from day one. They still are here today, so I'm really grateful to them. Many other professionals that play, like Wayne Routledge, who was at Swansea with me, played a big part as well. So a lot of people that I'm close to helped me make the right decision.
When did you first hear that Crystal Palace were interested? I know there are a lot of other clubs interested as well, so why Crystal Palace?
It happened quite quick, I'd say. Within the space of, I'd say, a couple weeks, I knew they were interested, and I could see what was going on with the club. You know, they'd moved a few players on from I'd say a successful period that they've had, you know, maintaining their status in the Premier League. Obviously the manager coming in, so I could see where the club was going, and for me I felt like I could fit in that.
How much did Patrick Vieira influence your decision, and do you remember your first conversation you had with him?
Yeah, I was a little bit starstruck when he called me. Just so strange having Patrick Vieira call you.
Did you have the number in your phone already? It was an unknown number?
I can't even remember. I think someone sent me his number and said, "This is Patrick Vieira, he's going to call you soon." So I'm just there almost panicking. I'm like, I don't know when he's going to call. Ended up calling, had really good conversation, even spoke to my parents, which was, you know, really nice of him. And from there, you know, I could just sense a belief that he had in me and what he wanted to achieve here at Palace.
Was that a long conversation, or you only needed 10 minutes for him to convince you?
You know, it wasn't too long. I already had in my head what I wanted to do, but I think having the conversation with him was pretty much like just an icing on the cake, I'd say.
You obviously hadn't played any Premier League football prior to your move here. Did you feel pressured to hit the ground running and impress? And your debut came at Chelsea, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'd say not pressure, but I just wanted to learn from day one. Come to a club like Palace, and they've had so many experienced players here, so many players that have done it in the Premier League for such a long time. And for me, I just wanted to come and learn. And I think the squad really helped me settle in really quickly and adapt to Premier League life. So for me, I'm just really grateful to the team and to the staff. And the game coming against Chelsea was obviously interesting going back, but not too much emotion, I'd say. I was more focused on trying to do as well as possible for Palace.
I remember that day how much support you actually had from the Chelsea fans as well. Mm-hmm. That must have been a special moment for you as well.
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, didn't play too many games in the first team, but having a few fans, be so kind to me when I came back was really nice.
How much did the other players help you settle in here? Because from the outside, it looks like you have such a strong unit here.
It's really a family here, family unit, and you sense that from day one. A lot of very genuine people here, from your kit men right up to the people that work in the kitchen, all the staff around the building. Everyone's so nice. They make you feel really welcome, and that's what they did with me. And I felt that straight from day one. And I think, having that off the pitch really helps with your performances on the pitch as well.
Selhurst Park, notorious for its amazing atmosphere, its incredible home support. How have you found it playing here in front of the home fans?
Yeah, it's the best. I don't know what much I could say. I think the fans are the best in the league, away and home. There's times in games where things might not be going your way. They don't really get on your back. They're there to uplift you, always cheering you up, always, making you feel like you can give that extra percentage in a game. So, this place is amazing, and an amazing place to play at.
I know you said that Chelsea felt like home, but is Crystal Palace now your home? Does it feel like home here? 100%.
I've been here, this is my second season, and the fans have really taken to me, and I'm grateful for that. Like I said, I'm grateful to the people that have helped me get on this journey, and the people that have, Palace accepted me to come to the club and allow me to show what I can do. And so, I think Palace is a fantastic place and a great place for me to continue progressing.
Since you arrived here, you've captained the side on a number of occasions. Have you always been a leader, would you say, and what kind of leader are you?
I think sometimes I don't see it in myself, but I think others do, which is, strange to say, but I think I'm growing in that, in seeing it in myself and seeing that I do have an impact on others. Captaining the side has been an honour, a privilege to be so young and to be able to captain Crystal Palace, and that comes from the players and that comes from the manager, giving me that trust. So I'm just really grateful.
You started all but 2 of the 44 games for Crystal Palace last season. A lot of games. Yeah. How would you summarise that first season for you?
I'd say it was okay. Obviously, I've got a lot to improve on, I'd say. But I'm just really grateful to have been given the chance to play in the Premier League. It's any kid's dream to play in the Premier League. And it was mine from such a young age. So to play, like you say, all but 2 games last season was amazing.
Do you feel more comfortable this season and sort of better prepared for the demands of the Premier League?
Yes and no. I'd say yes because I've had experience last season in the Premier League, playing all those games. But no, just because you never know what the league can throw at you. The league's always improving, teams always getting better, players always getting better. And as you can see, this season it's very tight and everywhere from the bottom to the top. So it's something that's ongoing and something that I'm hopefully with my team we can overcome many challenges this season.
Palace mid-table as things stand. How would you summarise this season? How would you assess it?
It's been okay. I think it's hard to assess the start of the season because we've played a lot of tough teams and top teams in City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. So I think we did well in a few of those games, and the games that we have played in so far, teams I'd say in and around us, I think we've done well. So there's loads of improvement to go. Hopefully we can carry on winning games and try and improve as a team and just see how far we can go as a team.
What would be a good season for Palace? What are your realistic aims?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Obviously, the club want to stay in the Premier League. I think that's first and foremost. The club have maintained that for a very long time. But I think as a team, I think we sense that we have a good thing going, and I don't want to put too much pressure on ourselves, but just understand that we've got a good group, and if we apply ourselves and stick at it every single game, you never know where we can end up.
From a personal point of view, what are you hoping to achieve this season?
For me, just trying to maintain that consistency that I had from last season. I think if I can stay consistent, helps the team a lot, helps us put ourselves in a good position, and for sure helps me improve as a player, which is what I want to do. We've got fantastic players in the team, and I just want us all to develop and improve and go on and win as many games as possible.
I just want to talk to you a little bit about England as well. You made your debut in April against Switzerland. Where does that moment rank for you in terms of career achievements?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'd say about 3rd maybe.
What's above it?
My professional debut, and I think my first Premier League goal, I think. So I'd say about 3rd, but it's still a massive achievement. That's just me, just listing off where I think it is, but such an amazing achievement for myself, and one I'm really grateful to have had.
Is it true your family weren't at Wembley? Did they get too nervous?
Yes. They also had church the next day, so it was valid reason.
Right.
Yeah, valid reason for sure. Yeah.
But they're always watching you, supporting you from home.
Yeah, 100%. They're always there, supporting me wherever I am, for sure.
You mentioned your first Premier League goal as your 2nd best moment in your career so far. What do you remember about that day away at Burnley?
I know it was a tough game against Burnley, like it always is. Very windy, but I just remember the ball just dropping to me. Just in the box, making sure I was laser focused on the ball, and then just hitting it. I think it went through three or four bodies before going in, but just an amazing moment for me. Just really happy. I've got teased about that goal because apparently I did about 4 different celebrations before getting to the final one. But yeah, it was a really good moment.
What was the final celebration? Had you planned it? Had you practiced it in front of the mirror?
No. Nah, I don't know what I did. I was doing all of this. I was just doing all sorts. So, but yeah, really good moment.
The World Cup is, of course, just around the corner. What would it mean to you to be on that plane to Qatar?
It'd be fantastic. For me, for any player, to go out and experience such a massive event, to represent your country. I think, such a monumental period in football, the World Cup. So for me, it'd be a fantastic achievement.
Your manager has been very vocal about how much you deserve a spot in the England squad. How much has he helped you develop as a player?
He's helped me a lot. From the first day I got here, from day one, he's been fantastic with me. He's helped me get to a point where I feel a lot more confident in my game and understanding what he wants from me within this team. So for me, it's fantastic to have someone like Patrick Vieira as my manager.
A lot of support from your manager and from your family, as you've been saying. Is it true that you still live with your mum, your dad and your sisters? And how much does it help having that support network to go home to?
It's always good. You've got mum's home cooking.
What's her best meal?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah, everything. Everything she does. Just going home, even if you've had a tough day at training or things ain't going too well, at least you've got your family there. And that's for me, having my family there is amazing. Them being around, supporting me all the time is great.
Just sort of puts everything in perspective, I guess.
Yeah, and understanding that, everyone else have lives as well. Sometimes I can get wrapped up in football and, what I'm doing, but, you've got your sisters, you've got your family, and they got their own lives as well, so caring for them and making sure they're okay as well.
You stay away from social media too, which is obviously a big decision in this world that we live in, but how much does that help you?
It helps me a lot, I'd say. There's a lot of negative connotations out there with social media. There's also a lot of good things social media can do. I'd say for me, I only came off it because I wanted to be more productive at home and just being able to do stuff and not constantly scrolling my phone. But I think it really is something that's, if you're using it for good, it can definitely help. But obviously there's a lot of bad connotations to social media. So in that aspect, I think it does help.
So you don't waste time on social media then. What do you do to relax at home?
Netflix series, music, whatever I can, whatever I can do that makes me smile.
You play the drums, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a drum kit at home?
No.
So where do you play them?
Sometimes at church, but it has been a while. It's been a while, so I don't know if I still got it.
Are there musical teammates who would, if you had a Crystal Palace band, who would be in it?
Joachim Anderson for sure. He's always playing music everywhere and singing, so he'd be up front, lead singer. Not sure about everyone else.
Like it. What's the best bit of advice that you've ever been given?
Don't be too hard on yourself. I think sometimes I'm very hard on myself. And like I said, you can get wrapped up in the world of football and things going on. Maybe you didn't have a good training session, maybe you didn't have a good game. And sometimes I do that a lot, but I think the best advice is don't be too hard on yourself. It's important to move on, and I think football gives you that opportunity every week. You might not have had the best game, but you move on to the next and try and rectify it and, try and put things into perspective.
Would you say you've got better over time at dealing with that? Not being too hard on yourself? I'm
getting there, so it's a work in progress. It's not always easy because when you're an athlete, you want to do as well as possible. You want to be doing the best possible for your team, for yourself as well. But I think, over time, steadily, things do get better. If
you could give 8-year-old Marc Guehi some advice as he was walking into the Chelsea Academy that day, what would it have been?
Just believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. I think a lot of the time when I was there, starstruck, I'd say, a lot of the time, just because of how good a lot of the players were around me. But like I said earlier, sometimes I don't see it for myself. So I just say believe in yourself, go out there and just enjoy it.
And what would 8-year-old Marc Guehi have said if you'd said, look, this is where you're going to get, this is going to be you?
No chance, not possible. He'd probably say that, yeah. So it's been good so far. So I'm really happy.
Marc, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.